This is by far one of the most affordable ways to own a home. What's up guys, my name is Ben Quann, I'm associate broker here in Virginia. Today we're going to be talking about manufactured homes. They go by double wides, they go by single wides, but manufactured homes kind of like the term that we like to call them. We also have modulars and then stick built. Those are like the three. Manufactured homes are what's right behind me. Again, we're closing on it today. We're out in Louisa. So if you're looking at Fredericksburg, you have Lake Anna that's right to the west of Fredericksburg, pretty much right on the Spotsylvania-Louisa line. In fact, if you're on one side of Lake Anna, you're in Spotsylvania, one side you're in Louisa, and today we're out in Louisa. So we're definitely in a more rural area when we come out here. This is probably 45 minutes away from the actual heart of Fredericksburg, but I service this area all the time. So when we think manufactured home, you got to understand that they do come in on trailer, and they come in actually with a title just like a car. Then it's put on a permanent foundation and you actually surrender the title at the DMV, and then that's what actually makes it become real estate at this point. So once it's put on the permanent foundation, it's then rendered real estate, and the county will start taxing it as real estate. Before that, if it's not ever put on a permanent foundation, it's considered just like a car and it's actually personal property. So to buy it as a house and use a house loan, you will have to have it on a permanent foundation. Now, just because it's not on a cinder block like this house, it really comes down to inside they're going to be on pillars. There's anchors which actually go down the ground or are built on the footer that's poured around the house. If you look back at my last new construction video, they were starting the dig to pour the footers. Same thing would happen here, just on a crawl space format. When they dig those, a lot of times they'll put anchor pins in there, and that's what you always hear about people talking about, like tornadoes blowing the trailers off the foundation, stuff like that. Those anchoring pins or hurricane straps are what kind of help it stay on that foundation. So it can have a metal skirt but still be on a permanent foundation if it is on pillars underneath, and again with all those straps. A lot of times these things are on, again, pillars, but they'll have wood shims. Those wood shims can go after a while and you start getting some sagging. Stuff you can very easily fix, but if the block is above 5 blocks, cinder blocks, we're talking about those pillars now, cinder block being this big, and depending on the grade of the property, those blocks usually have to be parged with concrete to pass any code. So sometimes you see some older manufactured homes, they might not have those pillars parged correctly. Now the big thing with modulars is, and again we're going to do a walking tour of the property, and I'll point out some things that you need to be paying attention to if you're thinking about buying one. Some things to be aware of is the financing mostly is a little bit different, right? Not every financing company is going to be able to finance these things, and not every loan product is as well. The four that really stick out to me is USDA, which is rural development. Now they'll finance it if it was built before 2006. So USDA, they'll actually finance these things if it was built prior to 2006. So anything before 2006, they'll not finance it. I found out the hard way one time. I had a house that was 2005 and did not let it go. The next one is going to be FHA. FHA is a 3.5% down, and they'll finance those too. VA, so if you're a veteran, they'll allow these. Yeah, VA is actually what's financing this house behind me. And then you have your conventional too. They all might have their own little stipulations that go along with it. I know one of them, and I want to say maybe it's FHA, will not allow if it's on a certain amount of acreage. I want to say it's 5 acres. So if it's on 6 acres, in fact, when this guy bought it, it was a 7-acre lot, and they had to break off a 3 or 4 acre chunk back behind it. So he got 2 lots, but he was only financing on 1 lot, and then he got the other lot for say $1. You'll see that sometimes. Now with land being so valuable, it's kind of a home run for this guy. But all that being said, every financing company is going to have a little bit different stipulations. When I talked earlier about surrendering it once you put it on a permanent foundation, what will happen is they cut off the tongue that the truck would have hooked up to bring it here, and they also take out the axles too. So this thing would have had axles underneath it. So all those have to be removed for it to be on a permanent foundation, and again surrendered down at the DMV.
One thing I'll start pointing out is, one, you'll see slope of the roof. Remember, they have to bring these things down the road, so you don't have a lot of clearance, so you have a pretty gentle slope right there. So that's one thing to point out when you're looking at some of these houses have additions that have been built on them and stuff, and you would just really never know the fact that they are a trailer. Now this is a gigantic house at over 2,000 square feet. Again, you get a lot of bang for your buck, but something I want to point out right here is there's a HUD plate right here that will actually have a number, kind of like a VIN number. There's that cinder block foundation I was talking about with the brick veneer in the front. But essentially, single wide meaning one trailer. This house would have came in as a double wide, so 2 trailers. So this would have been split right here before the siding went on. So I showed you guys the HUD plate on the front, but this is on the back. Again, symbolizing that there was 2 different units here. There's also some stuff inside of the house. There's a couple markers showing like where the trailer came from and some other options like that. One thing's very important whenever you're renovating these things. Do not get rid of any nameplate or any plate that shows manufacturer, anything like that inside the house. And then those siding plates, never get rid of those because they are a loan requirement and you will not be able to get a new loan on it if we can't find all those kind of stuff and track it down, make sure DMV's released it, all that kind of stuff. So this house has a 1-car garage, fully fenced in backyard, but again, there's that cinder block foundation. So this house shows really well. The owner built a back deck on it as well, right before we went live. So if you're looking for a house at over 2,000 square feet and under $300,000, this could be a good option for you. It's gonna be hard to see anything in here. You can see right there, that is a trailer frame. And then here's the parged bricks, or the cinder blocks I was talking about for that foundation. Right there, there's an anchor. Big crawl space. You got your pressure tank under there for your well, which is very typical for this area, whether you're a house or not, having your pressure tank down there. Sometimes you'll even see your hot water heater. You have your AC units or your air handlers under there as well. Turn on all the lights. We are actually in the middle of closing this. Anyway, laundry room. The buyers are actually at the closing table right now, so I'm just gonna do a quick walkthrough. Looks like they're already throwing a party. We'll do a quick tour. Yeah, see they brought some chairs in here. The living room, you'll see a slant 9 times out of 10. Again, think this was 2 trailers and they meet at this middle point. So a lot of times you'll see a slant in all these roofs. In fact, every time I've ever been in one, I've seen one. But again, really good sized rooms, you know, for what they are. Here's the 2nd bedroom, right? Here's the 3rd. Sorry, I'm not probably doing this justice because I don't want to turn on all the lights for these people. Half bath. So this one's a little tighter. Kind of has an RV feel, just how tight it is. Again, kitchen's big. Another thing to look at too is these 4 registers. You'll see them kind of randomly placed sometimes, but a lot of times in the middle of 4. But that also can be another sign that this is a manufactured home and not a modular or a stick-built house. Another thing you can see is the paneling. That's very typical as well. Popcorn ceiling. There's no attic really in these houses, so repairing is not very fun. Running wiring is not very fun. But again, paneling is very typical. So this would be considered the primary. Nice sized room. And I've never seen this, but a gigantic like sitting room off of this. Got a closet over there. Now, a lot of times you'll see them in slab doors, but this has been replaced with a 6-panel door like you would see in a stick-built house, right? So we have a full shower, double vanity, linen closet, toilet, and a soaking tub. So you do get some cool things. Again, 2,000 square feet is a great option for some folks. We have a pretty diverse real estate market here. As you can tell, I sell a little bit of everything from like random land. I've sold a single wide for $60,000 all the way up to, $1 million waterfront property, $1.6 million condos, crazy stuff. So we kind of have to know a little bit of everything. If you're looking for an agent in the area, you can go from downtown city life to 20 minutes, 30 minutes to be out, something like this. It's on septic and well, and totally different ball game. That's the only thing I'll say about that. Manufactured homes are definitely different, and you have to know a little bit about it. I actually almost lost out a listing because a guy said that he was like an expert, double wide king or something like that when it comes to these things. But I mean, ultimately they're all kind of the same thing. A house is a house.
being that's on septic and well, they're kind of just put here all differently, right? And they're all kind of built a little bit differently. You know, again, great option, 2,000 square feet, under 300,000 on a couple acres with a garage. It could be a good option. Just know, you know, some people might say that it doesn't go up in value. Yeah, it's not going to be in par with a stick-built house if they're both 2,000 square foot sitting right beside each other. But, you know, for the most part, we've seen these things kind of grow in value as well. Going new construction, meaning like you go to the manufacturer itself, that's a little bit different. They don't really allow realtors to represent their clients or whatever. You kind of just go in there and they have a couple lots that they usually own. They have a couple lots that they already own, and you pick out your double wide and they put it there. I will say though, every time I've been around that experience, it seems to be a little bit more expensive than you would think. I know when I first bought my farm, I had a little house on it that a lot of people told me I was probably going to need to tear down. And I looked in that option, and the trailer was only like $60,000. But by the time it got to your property, you were well into close to 200 plus. And that was probably in 2014. So it just seems like you could probably buy a stick-built house, new construction wise, for about the same amount of money as you're going to pay for one of these manufactured houses. You know, I would almost question if modular could be a little bit more even, you know, affordable. And we do have an outlet for that as well. We have a company called TTG, who represents a builder, System Built Homes, that is modular. And they're saying, and I haven't seen any of their product yet, but they're saying that they 350s, I think that what they use, but sub 400 price point depending on the lot, and have a real decent house, and they'll bring it in within 6 months. So I did have one client that went to one of these, went to one of the manufacturers, and I think she was about every bit of a year, maybe a year and a half before she finally got the finished product. She seems to be happy with it now, you know, so that's all that really matters to me. Again, I don't really help out with the new construction side of these things, but I do sell them all the time. Well, not all the time, but I do sell them quite a bit here in Spotsylvania and Orange and Caroline and Louisa. Something to be aware of, just another option out there. Now, there are mobile home parks. Don't know anything about that. I think you just rent the lot from the person, you hook up right there. Don't know anything about that. That's totally different ball game, something I don't deal with. But most of the time when I'm dealing with, they're gonna be on a little bit of acreage, and they're gonna have septic and well, which again is very common for out here. A lot of these rural lots don't have internet, which can be a hindrance too. But we have Starlink and some other options coming, and actually they're running fiber optic. I passed the crew out here maybe about 3 miles down the road, something like that. So we're getting it throughout everywhere, so it's good. Bring some people in the 2000s, surprisingly. Well, anyway guys, I think that's gonna wrap this video up. I hope this helps. It's just a different, I figured, you know, I've never done anything like this. I always try to, you know, the houses that I feel like people want to see, but you know, this is again the real deal and something I deal with all the time. I do a little bit of everything, so I figured it'd be another option for someone, and I hope this helped. If you guys like more content like this, of course, I can always run out and show some more stuff, maybe get in the crawl space, show underneath a little bit different. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Hopefully you guys are subscribed, and if not, please do, and I'll see you on the next one.